So Elon Musk is one of the richest humans in the world, the current owner of Twitter, and this is a newsworthy story whether the mainstream media and social media sites want it to be or not. Elon Musk has said some interesting things recently, including commenting on a thread about the alleged shooter's profile, which claims he was inspired by libs of TikTok, mentioned Tim Pool. The redhead libertarian said to the post of Ian Miles Chong, "It's a Psy-Op and it's not even good." To which Elon Musk responded, "This gets weirder by the moment." Now, I'm not putting words in Elon Musk's mouth. I'm not saying he thinks it's a Psy-Op, but he does think it's getting weirder by the moment. What's so weird about this story? Well, we'll read it and we'll cover it. He's also recently commented on racial crime statistics by an account called End Wokeness, where this post was accusing mainstream media of hyper-focusing on white on black crime instead of black on white or Hispanic on white, to which Elon Musk bravely responded, "Odd, why would the media misrepresent the real situation to such an extreme degree? Fascinating." Lastly, he also responded to a breaking story that Border Patrol reported a staggering 26,382 migrant apprehensions in just a 3-day span, which Bill Malugin is reporting is the highest daily average he has ever seen reported. And Elon responded, "Wow." So let's talk about those stories. Let's do a deep dive and let's look at the 2 tragedies that happened in Texas recently. God bless you folks. God bless your family. The show starts live. Welcome to the Dream Rare podcast.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Dream Rare Podcast. The title is, Does Elon Musk think the Texas shooter is a Psy-Op? And I have 2 things to say before I start real quick. First of all, Elon Musk is rich. He owns Twitter. He's a huge figure. So I think this is a newsworthy story. Obviously, Facebook and YouTube, this is a risky analysis for me to do because of the type of sites that they run. But I'm not going to back down and play by their rules because Elon did comment on a post about this and it is a newsworthy story, whether they want it to be or not. So that's my first disclaimer for the Facebook and YouTube low energy gremlin fact checker demon people who come out of their cave to, just listen to me. Maybe you can learn something. And to others, I just want to say thank you for being here on Facebook and YouTube. I'm trying something else out. If this doesn't work, I'll go back, but there's a members thing now. I launched a members thing on YouTube. And in order to comment, you have to be a member. You can still comment in the comment section, but live comments, this is just a thing that I'm trying to do. If it doesn't work in a few weeks, I'll go back. But I was getting distracted because there's just so many comments. Some of the people spam all the time. Now, if you want to be annoying and spam and stuff, you got to pay for it. So I just thought it would be easier to get more high quality comments in there because I get hundreds of comments and I'm always focusing on the same 3 people. So that's the new thing on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining. Members only get to comment. Facebook, you guys are still good. All right, let's get into the story. This is why I'm launching it. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Sorry about that. So Elon responded to this. The redhead libertarian said it's a Psy-Op and it's not even good. She responded to Ian Miles Chong, who said the alleged shooter's alleged profile claims that he was inspired by libs of TikTok, a conservative account. Between this and Tim Pool references, the thing is suspect. Where is his Twitter account? Why was he using a Russian social media site to write what was essentially a diary to 0 followers? And Elon Musk responded, "This gets weirder by the moment." So the redhead libertarian says, it's a Psy-Op and it's not even good. And Elon responded, "This gets weirder by the moment." So what are they talking about with this Russian social media, Tim Pool, libs of TikTok? What in the world are they talking about? Let's read the story. I have it in front of me. And there was 2 tragedies. We're going to go into both of them. Usually I don't like to. I'm not really interested in just hyping up tragedies. But when there's an interesting angle that sparks my curiosity, I'll go into it like today. So here's a story real quick. And this is, it says local police and federal law enforcement believe the shooter who rampaged through a crowded Texas mall, leaving at least 9 dead over the weekend, regularly viewed and posted far right-wing extremist content on social media and espoused sympathy for neo-Nazis. The shooter, identified as 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia, was wearing a patch on his chest, insignia RWDS, which authorities believe stands for Right-Wing Death Squad, according to multiple reports, an FBI bulletin obtained by Rolling Stone. He was killed following a shootout with police at Allen Premium Outlets in a suburb of Dallas. So this was obviously a Hispanic guy Mauricio Garcia, alleged neo-Nazi thoughts, white supremacy thoughts. And here's what Ian was talking about when it comes to the Russian account. This is what they're reporting in the mainstream news. This is Gizmodo. It says, the OKRU, which I've never heard of, I guess it's some sort of Russian social media, account believed to belong to Garcia had nearly 2,000 posts documenting his disturbed incel ravings. His account had no followers and appeared to function like a personal diary, Toller said. That diary of hate included images of Toller's weapons and ammunitions, a cryptic manifesto, and this image of him showing off a swastika tattoo on the left side of his chest. Garcia was apparently a big fan of former Vice columnist turned right-wing apologist Tim Pool and Libs of TikTok. So if you guys don't know, Libs of TikTok is an account run by some woman who just documents what the left is doing. She just posts the left. And this guy was on some Russian website, and I read the report. They're saying he had 0 followers. So this guy's on a Russian social media, a Hispanic white supremacist on a Russian social media with neo-Nazi stuff, talking to nobody. I'm not saying it's not possible, but the reason that Elon said this is getting weirder by the moment is because it is a very weird story. I'm going to keep reading. Gizmodo said 2 senior law enforcement officials speaking with NBC News said in a preliminary review of Garcia's social media accounts showed hundreds of posts that included extreme racist rhetoric. Some of these posts reportedly contained content espousing white supremacy and Nazism. None of them, police say, were ever shared or liked by anyone else. Gizmodo could not comment immediately or independently verify the posts cited by law enforcement. I'm not saying it never happens because it's not true, but have you ever heard of somebody who posts on social media and gets 0 likes and 0 shares? I'm talking like 0. I know they exist somewhere, but even the least popular person I've ever seen ever, somebody's uncle that just has a Twitter with like 10 followers, even I'm sure at one point he's gotten 1 like. So this guy had an entire social media account posting all this crazy stuff, and not one person liked it or shared it. Fascinating. An FBI bulletin viewed by Rolling Stone appeared to echo those findings. The FBI review of Garcia's social media accounts reportedly revealed hundreds of posting and images with racially or ethnically motivated violent extremist rhetoric. The FBI document goes on to note that Garcia was discharged from the U.S. military in 2008 over mental health concerns. Since then, he had spent years employed as a security guard where he received firearm proficiency training, according to CNN. His license to operate as a security guard, however, expired in 2020. The FBI did not immediately respond to Gizmodo's request for comment. On Monday afternoon, after the story was published, Bellingcat researcher Eric Toller published a long tweet showing racist rants and other disturbed images pulled from OKRU social media account believed to be connected with Garcia. Toller also shared the link to a YouTube account where someone believed to be Garcia slowly removes a scream mask and speaks inaudibly into a voice emulator. The video was posted on the day of the shooting and had nearly 6,000 views at the time of writing. YouTube did not immediately respond. I read more of that account too. I don't know if it was on the first page or not. Let me look. But I think there was like a little bit, it was like FBI bulletin according to multiple reports. So some of the reports in this report was like CNN said, like FBI officials said. He's posting on a Russian page with no followers. Okay. Let's just say this. I don't know what's going on. Hold on, I'm trying to get my next papers for my other stuff. I'm not going to say it's anything because I can't really prove it, but as far as what's going on, Elon Musk, one of the richest and most powerful people in the world who bought Twitter and now operates one of the best social medias on earth, he thinks it's getting weird. I also think it's getting weird. That's all I'll say. Bad people exist. Murders exist. People with mental health problems exist, but I do just find this situation a little bit weird, and like with everything, I'll be waiting for more information. When it comes to the trans shooter at the school, I'm not trying to be one of those person just like comparing tragedies with bias or anything. I'm just saying, with that person, it's like the manifesto is hidden and they won't bring it to public. With this one, it's been less than 48 hours and they already have a Russian social media account. How does that person find his Russian social media account of a Russian account that no one's even heard of with 0 likes or shares? Like, what type of news person found that? I mean, if it's real, that's amazing. But with the other shooter, it's like they're keeping all of their thoughts and who they liked and who they were inspired by. All that's kept under wraps by the feds and the police. But with this one, it's like 48 hours and they got everything about him. He just checks all these boxes. A Hispanic, white supremacist, neo-Nazi who likes Tim Pool. I don't know. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Tim Pool is not a favorite of that community. I don't think he is, but I mean, I have no idea. I just find it like a little weird when it's like libs of TikTok and Tim Pool. These are two people that the media hates. I don't even like Tim Pool. Tim Pool annoys me. I think he's a dirty beanie gremlin, but at the same time, jokes aside, I just feel like the media doesn't like Tim because he's got a massive business and a massive account where he counters left-wing narratives, and libs of TikTok has been under attack by left-wing media for the last 3 years. So if they share that in common with this horrible guy who did horrible things, then it is what it is. But it's like, okay, well then who did the trans shooter watch? Did they watch, MSNBC or CNN? Or I don't know. I'm not saying they did. How come we can't compare and be like, well, this bad person, was inspired by these people and this bad person was mentally ill and inspired by these people? Or we could be honest and be like, both of these people are individuals, and just because they watched somebody on YouTube and had mental problems doesn't mean it's that person's responsibility, which I think is the right thing, because any person, especially if you're Tim Pool, CNN, Fox News, libs of TikTok, at a certain point, you're getting hundreds of millions of views. You're being viewed by so many people that the chances of somebody that watches you not committing a crime is like 0%. So even though Tim annoys me, it's like he's not responsible for every bad person that watches his channel. It's impossible to have one of your viewers not commit a crime if you're getting billions of views, like a lot of us are. So I don't know. Here's what I will say, though, and I do want to read the other report real quick that I thought was also really weird. This was, I believe, let me see real quick. There's another report about some sort of like car that hit a bunch of people. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I printed it out over here. I couldn't find it. So I guess this is CNN reporting this. Not that CNN's that special, but they just did the story. The man who drove a vehicle into a group of people near a migrant shelter in Brownsville, Texas on Sunday, killing 8 and injuring 10 more, has been charged with 8 counts of manslaughter, Brownsville Chief Police told us on Monday. The driver was identified as George Alvarez, a 34-year-old with an extensive rap sheet, including prior charges of an assault and driving while intoxicated, according to police. The vehicle he was driving ran a red light, lost control, flipped on its side, and hit a total of 18 people, the chief said. Alvarez then tried to flee the scene before he was detained by bystanders. So, according to this story, they're basically trying to say that some guy named George Alvarez was drunk and mistakenly just flipped his car and hit a bunch of migrants. I didn't even know that before I read that. I was assuming it was purposeful because it's pretty hard to just run up on a sidewalk and hit that many people. It's almost like you have to try to do that, but apparently not. Apparently the official story is, and I'm not saying that's not true. I have no idea. I'm just kind of shocked. As a viewer, it's like I thought that was a purposeful attack, no matter who did it, even if it was that guy. But apparently he just got drunk, flipped his car, and just happened to murder 8 people. Another very odd story. Not saying it's not true. It's just a little weird, in my opinion. What makes this story even weirder, and I'm not saying that this is anything outside of the normal, because maybe this isn't so weird because of all the border crisis going on, is 2 things are happening at the border this week that are extremely significant. One, Bill Malugin, Fox News reporters, reporting that this is actually, in a 3-day span, the most migrants that have ever crossed into America in his history of reporting. So we're having a 3-day record number of people crossing the border. And this week, Biden is set to end. It's called Title 42. And Title 42 allowed Border Patrol officials to turn away migrants at the border in order to stop the spread of COVID-19. So even though Biden is horrific at the border, this was actually justifying them turning away more people. And now, without Title 42, the Biden officials' egregious, demonic, just extremely ineffective border policy is going to be even weaker than it was during the pandemic. So I just find all of this very interesting. I'm not saying it's planned. I'm not saying it's a psyop. I'm not saying bad people don't exist. And I'm not saying that horrible, evil people do mentally ill, deranged things and drive drunk. I'm not saying that at all. I just find all of this very connected. And I think at bare minimum, on the most harmless side, is we have a border crisis. I mean, conservatives know this. For some reason, liberals pretend like they don't know it, or I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe like they hate Trump and Trump talked about it, so now they don't want to talk about it, or they think it's racist, or I'm not really sure what they're doing, because in 2016, I guess I kind of understand, but you've had now 7, 8 years to, stop lying to yourself, become an adult. And the truth is, no matter what ethnicity you are, religion, political party, if you're a two-spirited, flying fairy, transgender, Indian, activist, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. You should probably want people to come into the country legally instead of having millions of people pouring across the border illegally with drugs, firearms, and other illegal stuff every single day. I mean, just on this report, I want to read this. This is Chief Raul Ortiz of the Border Patrol. He said in the past 72 hours, which is 3 days, in the past 72 hours, they had 26,382 apprehensions, 7,399 getaways, which means 7,000 people escaped into the United States, 164 pounds of marijuana, 83 pounds of meth, 66 pounds of cocaine, 11 pounds of fentanyl. Do you know how many people 11 pounds of fentanyl could kill? I can't even comprehend. Thousands, tens of thousands. 5 pounds of heroin, 12,100 seized, 1 firearm, 3 sex offenders, 1 wanted felon, and 1 gang member. That's in 72 hours. This type of stuff's happening all the time. And Bill Malugan, great reporter for Fox News, said, breaking, Border Patrol reports a staggering 26,000 plus migrant apprehensions in 3-day span. That's an average of 8,794 per day, which is the highest average I have ever seen reported. That's the highest ever. So let's just go over these things. Without Title 42 even being fully ended yet, we're having the most border crossings ever in U.S. modern history. And this is before Title 42. It's about to get real ugly, folks. And I'm not one of these fear mongers. I'm not Fox News talking about it every day. Although, honestly, I don't blame Fox for educating people on this. I just don't like to scare people on it. I don't believe in fear. I don't want you to live your life in fear. There's always going to be a crisis or a tragedy going on. So have no fear. Stay strong. Stay motivated. Stay blessed. But, the reason conservative media talks about this all the time is because it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy that millions of people bringing millions, or I don't know, thousands of pounds of drugs every month, fentanyl, meth, hundreds of thousands of people dying from that fentanyl. It's just happening more. And only the right wing cares about it. Only conservatives care about it. The left plays stupid. And that's why the left wing lives in cities that are falling apart. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes. San Francisco plays a stupid game. Everything's stupid. They don't want to clean up the streets. They don't know how to take care of mental health. They want to just let people be drug addicts and criminals on the streets. Well, now you live in a hellhole. You live in like a demon hellscape where it's not even walkable. You have dozens of businesses that are all over the country that can't even stay open in your disgusting, degenerate city because it's so filthy and so demonic, and they're closing down main stores, and San Francisco's falling apart. New York City, they're out protesting, blocking trains because they want somebody with 42 plus arrests, like God forbid, a good Samaritan comes around, tries to help. Okay, it's like, this is the left. They don't care about the border. They don't care about cleaning up their city. They don't care about fixing homelessness. Why can't you guys fix homelessness? Because you're too weak, because you're too fake, because you're too dishonest, and you're delusional. And with the border, it's the same thing. I understand that it might not be your top priority, but when you have this many people coming in every single day, and the Biden administration is just provably worse than the Trump administration. I've talked to my friend Jorge Ventura, who does not border apprehensions. He's a border reporter. He's out there in the water. He speaks to people. He's bilingual. He could talk to these people. He's told me that the Biden and Trump administration have 2 separate policies. Although Trump's wasn't perfect, although Trump didn't finish the wall or whatever, it almost got built, or I don't know what happened. He did have a different policy where they were trying to turn people away more. And Biden and Democrats play this little game where it's like they could come and get lawyers and run off into, and not show up to court or whatever. So, you could look at the stats between the Trump and Biden administration. The Biden administration is provably worse on this topic, and it's not a mistake. It's because Biden doesn't actually care, and Trump actually had policies that go against it. So for some reason, Democrats don't care about this, but you have Title 42, which is set to expire, and if we're already having the number one most amount of migrants come through in 3 days, and Title 42 is still in place, how bad is it going to get in the next couple of weeks? I don't know, but all I'm going to say before I move on to the next story is I will never call something that I can't prove. I'm not saying people didn't die. I'm not saying people didn't get shot. I don't believe that. However, it's just a little bit odd that we're having, or maybe it's not odd. Maybe this is just what happens when you have millions of people pouring across your border illegally all the time. You're just going to get more weird events and crime. Maybe it's not random at all, but you have one Hispanic guy that they're calling a neo-Nazi white supremacist who's not even white, but he's on these like Russian websites with Tim Pool and lives a TikToks. I'm sorry, that just sounds ridiculous to me. I'm not saying there's not bad people. I'm not saying people don't like Tim Pool and lives a TikTok, but the fact that his information came out so quickly with CNN reporting and FBI officials, and it's like, where's the manifesto of the other shooters? Where's all this information? Why does that take so long? Or they don't want to reveal it to the public. But with this one, it's like he had all these crazy posts that check all these boxes, but you know, like they had 0 likes and 0 shares. Maybe that's true. Also, it's just a little weird, but maybe it's not weird. Maybe that's what happens when you have millions of people come across the border illegally. You're going to have more crimes and you're going to have more psychopaths. America has enough psychopaths. America has enough mental illness. We don't need the mental illness and psychopaths from another country. We have enough of our own. I think we should police the border and let people come in legally that don't have a crime rap sheet. But anyway, and then you have this weird story of another Hispanic guy, and I'm not blaming all Hispanics because it's not true. I'm just saying, as much as the media is trying to like white supremacy, white this, so a Hispanic guy was like a neo-Nazi on a Russian website. I don't know. It's like Russia, neo-Nazi Russia, like maybe, but I've never heard of that. Like why would an American be on a Russian website? I'm not saying no one is, but something just seems a little off. In my opinion, I'm going to wait for more information. But maybe it's real. Maybe it's exactly what they're saying. And there's just a terrible person that for some reason posts all the time on Russian websites with no likes and shares. I mean, maybe he really was mentally ill, clearly. And that's what he did with his spare time. Just sounds a little weird, like Elon said. And then you had this other guy who I thought purposely hit these migrants, but apparently that's just a mistake. You just drive drunk and kill 8 people with a car. Do you know how hard it is to kill 8 people with a car by mistake? It's hard to do that even purposely. I mean, it's an evil, terrible thing to do. You're going to burn in hell for eternity, probably. I mean, that's between you and God. I'm not trying to overstep here, but like that's a crazy thing to happen. And the fact that that happened by a mistake because he was drunk, it's also a little weird to me. I'm just saying. And the fact that this is all happening now, in my view, now you have left-wing media saying, well, Tim Pool's bad, and you know anybody who disagrees with the border thing is like a neo-Nazi, and it's like as Title 42 is ending, as the border's being overflooded, something about this just doesn't smell right to me. I'm just going to say it. It's the same thing that happened with the Gretchen Whitmer plot in America during the lockdowns. I'm not saying bad people don't exist, but when you look at that story, there were feds all over it. And even, I believe at one point, mainstream media reported that the feds were not only involved in the Gretchen Whitmer plot, but they actually hatched the idea in the first place. And they ended up arresting one of the guys involved, but there were like feds all over that. And I'm not saying the feds can't do that, but it's a little weird. At what point does trying to catch somebody doing something wrong turn into the feds creating a crisis that didn't exist and trying to get people caught up into it? It's still your responsibility as an American citizen to not do something like that or fall for it, but that whole thing was weird. And I remember when the Gretchen Whitmer plot came out, they were like, oh, anybody who's against lockdowns, you know, must be like those people. They love to play that game. It's like, I was against lockdowns, not because there's some psychopaths and feds plotting something against Gretchen Whitmer, not because people are violent or evil, because the government was psychologically, mentally, and physically abusing hundreds of millions of people, making the country fatter, you know, helping us hit our new record high of like suicides and drug overdoses And it was the most abusive, psychotic, evil, tyrannical scheme I've ever seen in my life. And I didn't agree with that. And also, by the way, it destroyed the economy. It was bipartisan, and we're going to suffer over that for the next 5-6 years. People are already feeling it right now. And Janet Yellen acts so shocked. We know why the economy's bad. It's because you guys printed over $9 trillion and Biden came in to dig the grave further. But anyway, I was against lockdowns from a peaceful, righteous, and honest perspective, and they tried to basically tie what I was doing to be like, oh, well, if people are doing bad things over here and you're against the lockdown over here, then you must be with them. And it's like, no. Come to find out how that plot really happened, it's all very suspect. And with this stuff, I'm not saying it's not real, because obviously I think people died, and obviously I think that there are evil, mentally ill people out there who do bad stuff. I know there are. But I'm just saying, it's like, isn't that kind of odd? Or maybe it's not, because there's so many people now, but it's like, now there's this whole narrative being painted that like, you're a bad person if you want to stop people at the border. You know, this guy's getting drunk and hitting a bunch of migrants. So if you hate the migrants or you don't want them there, then you're similar to that. And I'm not saying I hate migrants, because I don't. I love everybody, and I know what these people are going through. So I pray for them, and I don't dislike them. But I'm just saying, it's like, now if you're against border security, they're going to act like you're the psycho, guy that hit them with his car by a mistake. Or you're this other guy who's on Russian blogs with no posts, or no views. It's just all very odd. That's what they're going to use to tie anybody who stands against border crisis for the next couple months. I know they're going to be like, oh, well, you're like this person. No, people have cared about this for 30 years. Has nothing to do with this psychopath. Has nothing to do with these evil people. It's just there's way too many people coming across the border. So is there ever going to be a time we could talk about it? Is there ever going to be a time the Biden administration or Katie Hobbs or any of these losers actually address this? It has nothing to do with who these people are. Where it's like, you can't just let millions of people into your country illegally. It's crazy. And even if Border Patrol's catching 20,000 and 7,000, I mean, this is all going to add up at a certain point. It's very, very bizarre. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to say real quick on YouTube, if you guys just joined, there's a new policy, because I'm not against comments and I'm not against an interactive show. I enjoy it. But I started to know, thank you, Squints, for becoming a member. I started to realize that sometimes, and I'd listen back sometimes, and I was like, I don't like the way my energy just flips so much just based off one comment. And most of the time it was YouTube comments. So now on YouTube, if you want to comment, you either got a super chat or you got to become a member. And if it doesn't work well, then I'm going to switch it. But in general, it was like 4 accounts that were saying all this stuff. And I was like, why am I giving so much attention to these people when I have thousands of people that actually have insightful stuff? So I'm still going to interact with Facebook and YouTube on my live stream. I'm still going to talk to you guys. However, I'm just not going to allow like spammy comments on YouTube. And if people are going to be that annoying, they got to become a member. I think it's like $2.99 is the cheapest one a month. That's what it is to comment now. It's going to keep the energy a little higher on the show, I think. We'll see. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Trisha. Thank you, Squints, everybody else. What do you guys think? I'll just say this to wrap up, and I'll read a few comments from Facebook and YouTube. Once again, I mean, this is a risky story for me to do. Knowing how psychotic Facebook and YouTube are, I just saw Mark Zuckerberg won a jiu-jitsu tournament. Not going to lie, that's pretty cool. I like the fact that Mark Zuckerberg is, doing mixed martial arts. Hopefully that builds character. Now he's getting stronger physically. Hopefully he'll not be so far left wing now, and he could clean up his company like Elon did. Overall, it's like Facebook and Instagram. I don't know what they're doing exactly as far as their business model and how much they censor. It seems like it's let up a little bit recently, but my experience with Facebook has been they always seem to censor more around election time, and I don't think that that's random. So, Mark, if you're watching, probably not, but Facebook censors. One, this is a clear, true story. Elon Musk is responding. I have the American right to question what he's thinking and why he's saying that. I have the right to, just be a little bit skeptical of everything that's going on, especially when the same mainstream media that pushes this narrative is the same mainstream media that won't have an honest conversation about it. They won't. It's like, let's just be honest. There's so many people at the border coming over illegally. A lot of them have fentanyl, and they're killing hundreds of thousands of kids. It's not good. Why can't CNN, MSNBC, why can't they have this conversation? Katie Hobbs, What's wrong with the Democrats? How could I ever trust these people when they won't even meet me halfway? I'm not asking you to put on a MAGA hat. I'm not asking you to want to build the wall higher. Let's just have an honest conversation about border. Can we? No? Everything unbelievable. I want to show you guys this real quick too, because Elon, this is another report. Elon's getting very bold, folks. He's getting bolder than 99% of the GOP. I don't know what his intentions are, but to me, he seems pretty authentic, and he's really going further and further with the power that he has. So I'm going to show you this real quick. This is a Twitter called #Wokeness, and it shows interracial violent crime, and it shows the media basically just hyper focusing on white on black and ignoring Hispanic on white and black on white. And Elon, responded to that, and he said, odd, why would the media misrepresent the real situation to such an extreme degree? So even Elon is noticing that the media seems to act like all the crime is white on black, even though statistically that doesn't seem true. I mean, that's a bold thing for Elon to do. He doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to stick his neck out there to comment on this stuff. Most GOP members are afraid to say this. They'll be like, oh, I'm not racist. I like Tim Scott. Cool. Wow. It's like, you like Tim Scott. Wow. You're so cool, dude. Like, whoa, I'm not racist because I watch basketball. It's like, dude, just stop. I understand it's nice to be nice. It's nice to, show love to other cultures, ethnicities, etc. But to say what Elon's saying and respond to that picture post is ballsy. It's extremely ballsy. I'm going to read this comment. Squints just gave me, he's a member now. This is why. Thank you so much for signing up. This is why I'm doing this, folks. This is amazing. Instead of reading like troll comments who are annoying, listen to this. Squints said, who's a new member on YouTube, Anomaly has helped clarify my own thoughts. I've lost over 100 pounds, acknowledging pure thoughts that occur here. Love that and respect. If this guy's telling the truth, or woman, they lost 100 pounds listening to our show. That's amazing. This is a comment I would never see because someone would be like, meh, 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 meh. And the thing that on my show, I don't mind if people disagree. I don't mind if people say something intelligent. Sometimes it would be people spamming over and over and over again. And I'm just like, it would annoy me. So now it's a beautiful thing. I get to see comments like that. Let's see. Someone said, I'm not racist. I hate people of all races, or I hate a few people of all races. I can't speak for everybody, but I think most people in the world, they like what they like and they dislike what they dislike. People notice patterns. People feel comfortable in certain situations. But for the most part, I think most of the world would rather have somebody that they like and trust of any ethnicity than somebody that they don't trust of their own ethnicity. I really do think that, most like racial tension would be gone. Not all of it. Obviously, there's going to be some that's natural, but most racial tension is manipulated and inflamed by the media. The media is so evil. I don't even like, people watch my show. This has been a show where I've barely even talked trash about Republicans. I'm a registered Republican, but Republicans annoy me. They annoy the crap out of me. I feel like the whole party is controlled opposition. I don't even like 95% of Republican media. I'm not one of these people that just like believes everything my side says. That's not how I am at all. But at the same time, the mainstream left-wing media is just the worst. Everything they do is inflaming. Like everything they do is trying to make this worse, that worse. Everything's out of context. So how could I trust them when they report stuff like this? It's hard for me to do that because I know the type that they are. We could eliminate racial tension by like 80 to 90% in a year if the mainstream media just stopped being so obnoxious, fake, inflammatory, and insane. I'm not saying there's no people that are bad. I'm not saying that there would be none, but a lot of it is so jacked up because they just can't let us have a real conversation. But you know what? People are starting to get over it because it's just not 2016 anymore. At first, this is my analysis of it. I feel like the 90s and 2000s were a time where people were starting to come together. There wasn't that much racial tension. Maybe there was a little, but there wasn't that much political correctness. And a lot of people feel like 90s, 2000s, like things were getting better. And I'm not going to blame Obama, but I think the Obama, the BLM, and all of this like, I mean, even like with gay marriage, it's like gay people can get married. It's like, okay. And then it's like, the kids are gay, your kid's trans, they need pharmacy pills, big pharma. It's like, it just got so out of hand so quickly where it's like, whoa, that's kind of like racial activism. We could have a conversation, but it just got so fake and deranged and, sponsored by mega corporations and Nike. And it just got really crazy really fast. And I don't know. It's like if people just chilled out a little bit, but long story short, with all of that, I feel like when it started coming in 2010, 2011, 2012, people were afraid to speak out because they didn't want to be called these names. Now, the left has overplayed their hand so much that I feel like people aren't that afraid anymore because it's so overtly insane. Still, a lot of people are afraid, but for me, in 2017, if someone called me a racist or an anti-Semite or a sexist, I would like freak out because I'm not any of those things. So I would like really take it to heart. I'm a very sensitive person. I'm strong, but I take things pretty personally sometimes because I care about my character and I'm not those things. So if someone lies about me or defames me, I want to defend myself. I still do. But if someone said that to me in 2017 or 2018, I would take it I would be like, I'm not those things. I feel bad. Like, why would you think that? Now I'm still a good person. I'm still the same. It's just, I don't care anymore. These people are such clowns to me. If someone uses the word racist, I think of it like really, or just like you overusing that word like you always do. When people use the word anti-Semitic, it's like, I don't even believe it 9 out of 10 times because they overuse that word. And I would say that they overplay the victim card. Something happened recently where it's two victim cards battling each other. And as somebody that doesn't play the victim, I find it fascinating. It was Rashida Tlaib, who is I believe, left-wing Muslim. What is Rashida Tlaib? I don't know what ethnicity she is. Some sort of Middle Eastern, maybe, American, whatever. Rashida Tlaib versus Jonathan Greenblatt, which is the Anti-Defamation League, who is a Jewish CEO of that organization. So I'm just going to paint the picture that I saw for you. And I'm like an observer. It's like I'm at a sports game just watching this like epic battle of victim cards. And I'm like, who's going to win? I don't know what's going on here. So if you guys don't know, the Anti-Defamation League is a Jewish organization that cries anti-Semitism a lot, but they have a more left-wing skew, and they pretend to be like left-wing, intersectional or whatever. And then Rashida Tlaib is just left-wing, intersectional, progressive activist for Black, LGBT, everything. You know what I'm saying? She posts something about Israel, and then Jonathan Greenblatt starts crying about it, and she's talking about Black people, and he's talking about Jewish people, and they're arguing with each other, and I'm just like, I don't like either of them. I don't like Rashida Tlaib, and I don't like Jonathan Greenblatt, but it's like, they're just fighting with each other over like who's the bigger victim. Rashida Tlaib is like, well, Black people are getting hurt in Palestine and colored people and Palestine. And he's like, well, Israel and anti-Semitic and Jews and she's trying to hurt us. And like, they're just fighting with each other. It's like, whose victim card's bigger? Is it the woman, left-wing, Muslim, colored person, as she calls, like activism, or is it the left-wing Jewish card? And it's like, that's between you guys to decide. I don't care. I don't see either of you as victims. I think you're both successful people, and there's bad things going on all over the world. But the point that I'm getting to is like, I just don't care about this stuff anymore. Like, these people are gonna fight with each other for the next 20 years because they're all like, oh my gosh, colored people that are in here, and it's like, well, you can't say that about our people, and it's like, yeah, it's good to be good, it's bad to be bad, but this overuse of the word racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, xenophobia, these words mean nothing to me anymore. You call me that word in 2018, I'm really upset. You call me that word in 2023, I'm looking at you like you're just another one of those people that lies all the time. I don't care anymore because it doesn't affect me because I know who I am. I know how I feel inside, and I know how clowny these people are. Like, what does sexist mean? It means you're a man who's not like transgendering yourself. What does sexist mean? A man who actually wants to stay in a relationship? Like, what does it mean to be a sexist activist against sexism? Probably you hate men. Like, I don't hate women. I like conservative women, liberal women. I get along with women. I'm not trying to act like I'm a big player or anything. I'm just saying, like, women, I do well with women. I don't hate women. I'm not like, I don't look at an entire gender and be like, I hate you. Women are cool with me. We have a good relationship. Like all these feminists who are fighting the tyranny, it's like, I guarantee you they hate a gender more than I hate a gender. I don't hate men or women because I'm not self-conscious and I don't have issues like that. But a lot of these feminists, they actually hate women. They hate them. Or I'm sorry, they hate men or they hate themselves. And it's like they're just projecting. They're like, you hate us. And it's like, no, you hate me for my gender. It's like you're mad at daddy or something. I get it, but it's like all of this activism is projection. If these people just fix themselves, they probably wouldn't be that. Same with like all this racism, activism. How many people that are into race activism aren't hypocrites? Like almost nobody. If you're going to have a black organization or a Jewish organization that puts on for black people or Jewish people, who cares? But if you're going to cry when someone of another race does it, you're a hypocrite. Like, how could you expect other people to not want to do what you're doing? So I find that like 99% of racial or sexual activists, they're just like hypocrites. They just want to police what everyone else does instead of policing themselves. And they get mad when someone else does what they do. It's like, at least have the honesty to let people do what you do. Like if your religion does it, why can't another religion does it? If your race does it, why wouldn't you allow another race to do it? So, I didn't mean to get on this huge tangent, but it's like all these words just don't mean anything to me. And that's what I'm trying to say now. It's like the media has overplayed their hand. The left has overplayed their hand. And a lot of people are getting thicker skin because they've had to put up with so much. And they just don't care about these like aimless words anymore. It's just like it's irrelevant because you've watered down these words to the point where they don't have the same oomph that they used to have. Maybe in corporate America they do, maybe at a left-wing corporation, but a left-wing corporation nowadays is kind of like San Francisco. It's like you have the left-wing psychos that are running around being crazies, and then you have like the normal people that are just like scared and not wanting to do anything. It's like San Francisco is a failing city. It's getting dirtier. It's getting more disgusting. It's getting more homeless. It's completely run by Democrats. And businesses are moving out because it's so disgusting, dirty, and filled with crime that they can't even stay open. So, like, I don't care what those people think of me. I laugh when they talk to me. I don't like what you said. I don't like your whole city. It's disgusting. Clean it up and grow up. Like, of course you don't like what I think because I don't live like that. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to cut this one off pretty short. That's the story of the day. So far, I like that. I've seen some good YouTube comments. I've seen some good Facebook comments. I haven't seen a lot of Facebook comments with all the YouTube spammers, and I should probably have had somebody maybe like, handle it to get rid of it. I don't care when people disagree with me, but if someone's just like taking up all the real estate in the comments, it was getting annoying. This one felt good. People can be a member on YouTube if they want to comment on YouTube. And I think it works better that way. I got to read some cool comments that I normally wouldn't. And if people want to be annoying, they can earn that. Most people that want to be annoying, they don't want to pay $3 a month. So I think it's a good filter. Thank you guys. Let me know what you think. Once again, this is the story. Elon Musk responded to the redhead libertarian. She's made herself into national news. Which is hilarious. I think she works with Tim Pool or she's on the show sometimes. But anyway, redhead libertarian said it's a psyop. It's not even good. And Elon Musk responded, this gets weirder by the moment. Does he think this is a psyop? I don't know. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I'm not going to claim anything I can't prove. He's definitely skeptical, and I'm definitely skeptical. It doesn't mean I think it's fake. It doesn't mean I think people didn't get hurt. I'm not saying that. Please don't put words in my mouth, psycho left-wing losers who lie about everything. I'm just saying it's all a little bit odd, and I'm just waiting for more information to come out. And in general, if this is all completely true and all of the reporting holds up for the future, we need to talk about border security. There's millions of people coming across the border. There was a record number this week. Title 42 is ending, and the Biden administration and Democrats just don't seem to care. I understand that Carrie Lake kind of had the Trump angle to her, and I think she's a little harsh for maybe some moderates, but at the same time, like, I'll give you an example. I like Carrie Lake. I would have voted for her if I lived in Arizona, obviously, but I had a friend that was a progressive Bernie type guy who said, I'm voting for Blake Masters. He voted for Blake Masters because he liked his foreign policy, but he didn't vote for Carrie Lake. He just didn't like Carrie Lake. And that's something I know people don't want to think about. I'm not saying the Maricopa machines worked perfectly, but I think a lot of people on the right don't want to have self-awareness of like how other people perceive them. And you don't have to please everybody, but if you run for office, you do have to think about independents and swing voters. And, I think in some ways, maybe she turned off some swing voters, but really in Arizona, it's like if you have Carrie Lake and Katie Hobbs and you have a massive border problem, if you vote for Katie Hobbs, you're weak. She looks like a cat lady, substitute teacher. Like that's who you're going to put to defend your border and defend your state. Carrie Lake, she might be a little much for some people, but she's going to actually defend the border. Like you got record crossings, and Arizona, Texas, these are states that it really affects like a lot. How in the world do so many people want to vote for Katie Hobbs? People are too weak in this country. You see it in San Francisco. You see it in the big cities. You see a lot of these red states turning somewhat blue. And as much as people want to blame elections, I understand that the machines malfunctioned and they didn't work. That's insane. That's obviously a red flag, and I'm not overlooking that. But I do also think that in many ways, we are losing the culture war. We are losing the independence, and we can't play the victim. We can look at stuff. We can try to correct elections. But to me, this Trump Carrie Lake narrative, I'm not saying you can't look at it. I'm not saying to not take it to the courts. But I feel like that narrative, this is just my view, is like there's zero self-accountability, 100% blame, and they're kind of tricking conservatives into playing the victim, where I do know somebody from Arizona that voted for Blake Masters, a Republican, but he voted for Mark Kelly, a Democrat, or whatever, Katie Hobbs, or didn't vote. It's like that is a thing. I'm not saying it's common, but you do have to understand how swing voters perceive you and independents perceive you. And if you play this narrative that Trump and Carrie Lake are playing, where it's like, I'm 0% accountable, I'm 100% the victim, it was 100% cheated, and I don't have to change anything about myself or my campaign, it's just disingenuous. And it's like, that's not really how things work. I don't like that narrative. It's like, yeah, there are some inconsistencies with the elections that need to be looked at, but I don't think we're winning everything. I don't think we're winning the youth. I don't think we're winning the culture. I don't think we're winning major cities. I think Florida is the only example of a city turning from blue to red, and that should be looked at and figured out how they did it instead of just bashing DeSantis all the time. You don't have to vote for him. You don't have to like him. You don't have to trust him, but he did flip a blue city red. So if you're not even interested in the blueprint of how he flipped Miami red, and you're just going to act like anyone could have done that, it's not true. And then you're just going to, I feel like Republicans in that way are playing a losing game. And I want to see Republicans win these states, because I can't believe that so many people are so foolish and naive that they would vote for someone like a Katie Hobbs. And I know that there were machine inconsistencies, but for the most part, I do believe that we do need to win over the minds of the masses, and we're not doing that. And we're never going to do that with the same tired narrative of playing the victim and just doing the same things over and over. That I don't see that working. But on the flip side, the worse that Arizona gets, the worse that San Francisco gets, the worse that Dallas gets, the worse that these cities get, the more people are naturally going to flip red, because it's going to get so bad they're going to figure it out, or they're going to perish or live in peril. So, I do think both sides are playing a losing battle to some extent. I just want to happen sooner than later, because I think overall, like even if Republicans don't change a single thing and they do, keep the same annoying strategies and they have no self-awareness, even though Democrats are playing a long game, I think more and more Democrats are going to have to wake up. Like how long can you vote Democrat in San Francisco? If Katie Hobbs doesn't secure the border, how long is Arizona going to keep voting that way? Like, I think at a certain point, it's going to get so obvious that people will flip, but maybe not. Maybe the Democrats play a long game, flip the demographics, and then, people never win elections again. I don't know. Let me know what you think. God bless you guys. Appreciate you. I like the way I did it with the comments. I'm going to keep it. You want to comment on YouTube, become a subscriber. You want to comment on Facebook, you just have to log in. It's fine. Appreciate y'all. And just check out a few things real quick. My Dream Rare shop, I have a shirt. It says Big Farmer, not Big Pharma. If you like farms more than pharma, that shirt's for you. God is Great sweatshirts. It's the most comfortable sweatshirt I own. I ran out. Not going to lie, they're expensive. I buy them myself in bulk, and they're high quality, made in the USA, so I almost wasn't going to buy them. But people kept asking when they're coming back, because I get like literally so many messages of people saying, hey, when are those sweatshirts coming back? They're so comfortable. I wanted one. or I wanted another one. So check them out. And also, I do have to say this too, and I really mean it. When I wear my God is Great sweatshirt or my God bless hat, I get the most comments ever. People always stop me if I'm walking. They say, I love your shirt, or they'll say, God is great. And it's like, it's such a good vibe. And people message me all the time and say, hey, you're not lying. I wore that sweatshirt. And people start commenting, Christians, Muslims, people who love God. They're like, I love that. So it's not only a comfortable shirt, but it has a statement on it that will bring godly people your way, and people spark a conversation or a compliment. It's pretty cool. Honestly, I've been complimented with that shirt and hat dozens of times, way more than any of my other clothes. So check it out, dreamrare.com. That allows me to stay independent, and I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. I'm out. Dream Rare Podcast. Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, Stay Blessed long sleeve, God is Great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com. So check the links below in the description, or just type in on any browser, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You'll find my email list, put it in there, and it's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I barely use it because I don't like getting emailed every day or every week. It's annoying. So I don't do it. Stayintouchwithme.com. It helps me take back some power away from big tech. Telegram, t.me/dreamrarechat or @dreamrarechat. Due to censorship, I post all my live stream and videos there. Sometimes I have some bonus content, and I try to give people a heads up when Facebook or YouTube won't. Dream Rare Chat at Telegram. My Instagram is @dreamrare. Thanks for everybody following there for shorter content. And dreamrarelinks.com, that's dreamrarelinks.com, has all my stuff. My podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my music on Spotify and Apple, my Rumble page, my BitChute and Gab page. All my links are found at dreamrarelinks.com. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless you. You already know I'll be back with more content.